Good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure and honor to speak to you. I would like to thank the organizer and Dr. Zhang, especially for their generous invitations. I'm sorry we will not be there. An obligation did allow me to come. And today, I'll talk a bit about fake news and free speech. Our scenario could be an emergency, like climate change or war. Only a short time ago, it was pandemic or terrorism, for example. Perhaps today also is disinformation, especially in digital age. My topic today is fake news and free speech, as said, but my goal here is small for now. I would like to draw your attention to some points of fake news let's discuss it so far. Never mind giving legal definition today. Time is a scarce resource by definition, but it's also so you don't get more much. And instead, I would like to make you think about what we should not do in the near future, what many policymakers do in the world today. Let me start a few examples to show and look for a moment at this bizarre news. Thanks for your attention and reading. Perhaps once you have read them, you will be smiling. Perhaps the last one is less funny, maybe. Perhaps you are wondering what how, then how. Of course, you have no trouble realizing they are fake. The problem is that the world is not us. Out there, people have believed these falsehoods and they share them, especially in digital networks. They went virally clicking facts, and sometimes they can be harmful. Of course, some questions can arise and the first one is, why do people credit falsehoods? Why don't they dismiss them? A large part of the answer is, most of the time, we believe other people. A general phenomenon caused by the name truth bias. People tend to think what they hear is truthful, even if they have an excellent reasons not believe what they hear. For a powerful demonstration of the existence of truth bias, consider some works from research team consisting of the three researchers from University of Brussels. Mirko Pantassi and colleagues show that generally people are more willing to believe what we hear from others, even though such information is contradicted by evidence later on. The problem is first impressions matters for people in the reality, but not only. Social scientists reveal how information, therefore false news, spread through two main phenomena: informational and conformity cascade, and also another particular phenomenon that is group polarization. Maybe are you familiar, for example, with the echo chamber phenomenon? This is very common on social media, and it is at the root of people's tendency to go to extremes. Now, we can also better understand the problem if we know that this ordinary life. We tend to be credulous based. And this in the sense will be update on the basis of what we hear, but not sufficiently discount the motivation or limited information, the source of what we hear. For example, if someone says that a doctor is a criminal, that some students or professors engage in some terrible misconduct, or the candidate for public office is corrupt, many people will think that statements would not have been made unless it has some basis in fact, about truth. Maybe many hopes now, in the 2020, people know that Twitter received a great deal of attention when it accompanied two tweets by President Donald Trump containing fake news about the high level of fraud associated with mail-in ballots. My question is, was Twitter right to do that? Maybe I think so, is the reply. Perhaps President Donald Trump is a liar in this case. But if we believe in free speech, the question is, should we protect fake news of Donald Trump? And should we tolerate intentional falsehoods? Perhaps as the price we pay for freedom? To be sure, we should ask whether, do we have a right to be lie about a pandemic? I don't know, about health and safety, about public officials, or also about science. If we are committed to freedom of speech, the question is, must we tolerate lies? And what about falsehoods in general? On these points, I suggest reading the book of Constantine, Liars. It's a short book but covers a lot of grounds. And we can ask, how important is truth? And what should policymakers do to protect it? Of course, not in that I said, and I will say today, cast doubt of the crucial role of the truth in democracy. In fact, the truth is a cornerstone of us. There is interesting books of Schifrin, Shana Schifrin, and the Speech Matter is the title. They stress the importance of speaking truth. But as you can see in the picture, truth also could be a big stone for us. Now, looking at principle of free speech. And my goal here is to show what is wrong with shilling falsehood and fake news also, as policymakers around the world are doing. Perhaps policymakers do this under pressure from the emergency, climate change, pandemic, also terrorism or war and other crises in the near futures comes again. But my point here is, who can assure us that this is not just a pretext? Galileo, an Italian famous scientist of the past, suggests a question. Can we trust policymakers? Perhaps we can trust policymakers, but I have at least 3 reasons to be cautious in regulating fake news through mandates and other intrusive measures that granting policymakers to censor or punish fake news creators as well as ban social media platform and users. Let me explain why. The first concerns regard fallibility. We can say that if policymakers are allowed to punish or censor what they consider or false, they might end up punishing or censoring the truth itself. The reason is that their own judgment may not be reliable. To be sure, they might be wrong. Their judgments are likely to self-serving. If policymakers try to censor speech as false news, the real reason might be not it false, for example. But the real reason may be that it makes the fake news makes them look bad. It's a truth policies in this case, and it's often a stooge of an authoritarian trying to hold on the power. We have so many examples in human history. When policymakers seek to punish or block falsehoods, their real concern could be the dissent, not falsehoods. This is the case in connection with emergencies such as at the pandemic of COVID, and especially vivid example comes from China. Recall Dr. Wenlian Li, he was a whistleblower who drew attention to the pandemic. In 2020, Dr. Li was disciplined for spreading misinformation, but he eventually died of the COVID virus. The second main concern is false statement can improve our understanding. This is propositive. I think that in mature democracy, policymaker should not be based on chilling censorship and punitive policies, but should empower people to debate, to understand, to learn about what is false, what is fake news, in order to fuel the truth itself. To be sure, truth needs falsehood, at least for 3 reasons. The first reason is debating falsehoods freely and openly helps people to recognize the errors and fallacies behind claims or false facts and events spread as true. The second reason is understanding falsehoods allow to correct those who, for example, through lack of knowledge or misunderstanding and much more, approve or simply joining with facts passed as true. Third is learning from fake news and other falsehoods is crucial to keep the truth itself alive, as its full sharing of opinion and enrich people's knowledge. The thought of John Stuart Mill is illuminative of this point. And he said, however unwilling a person who has a strong opinion may admit the possibility that his opinion may be false, he ought to be moved by the consideration that however true it may be, if it is not fully, frequently, and fairly discussed, it will be held as a dead dogma, not a living truth. My last concern regards the depth of the truth. We say chilling truth, allowing policymakers to punish or censor what is false might prevent people from saying what is true. Suppose you are told that if you say something false, you will have to pay a significant fine. You might not speak at all. You might decide to steer well clear of the line, meaning what you will shut up about a range of things that are actually true. When free speech principles are designed to protect against a chilling effect, speakers gain, of course. They don't have to be frightened of the authorities. The last pass I propose is come from Joseph Ratz in Ethics in the Public Domain. If we were to choose between living in a society which enjoys freedom of expression, said Ratz, but not having the right myself, or enjoying the right in a society which does not have it, I would have no hesitation in judging that my whole personal interest is better served by the first options. Thank you very much for your attention.